Hi, Daniel, you okay?
Hi, good to see you.
It's been the toughest of starts, Liverpool followed by Manchester City. So, how do you approach this game? Is there maybe a little bit less pressure, one that you can go and enjoy, and anything that you get from the game is a bonus that can get your season going?
Well, it's not a bonus anyhow because each and every game has the same value. So it's always a chance to win 3 points, or if not, then at least 1 point anyhow. So for that, no bonus games anyhow during the season. We don't complain. So we've worked unbelievably hard in order to be allowed to be there in competitive games against the top sides. And yeah, of course, to start against Liverpool and Man City is tough, if I'm honest, especially keeping in mind our preseason was a bit also interrupted by Corona, and Liverpool, their key players had a proper summer break. Just the focus was just on the first game. Salah, Mane, Van Dijk, all the key players more or less really fully focused. And also for Man City, it's the first game in their home stadium, in a full home stadium in front of their supporters since nearly 2 years. Yeah, first time that they can present the silverware from last season, and I think the mood will be good. And also after the first game day, I think they will be highly motivated to bounce back straight away. So probably the 2 toughest games you can have in world football, but we don't complain. We wanted to have those games, and I think it's important also to play these games and to enjoy these games, not just the atmosphere, but also the challenge. And even against Liverpool, of course, yeah, you have to accept when Liverpool is then capable to win this game. And it's a world-class side, and the same with Man City. But even in this game, I got the feeling. So we're not too far away from getting something out of this game. And this will be also our claim. We want to grind out the best possible result also at the Etihad. And we're looking forward to have this game.
You have history, of course, with Manchester City from the Premier League 2 years ago. Can you take some confidence from that?
Yes, perhaps, but we had also a defeat at the Etihad on the last game day, and so it's perhaps also not the best experience. We know it's one of the biggest tasks in world football if you face a Pep Guardiola side again in their first home game, one of the best teams in the world, a team who deservedly won the Premier League last season, and especially in a situation after they lost their previous game, and they are still will still be unbelievably focused and highly motivated. So for that, unbelievable difficult task, but we know that we have also our skills and also our strength, and if we are at our best, we can even hurt the best teams in the world. We know this, but we have to be spot on, and each and every detail has to be perfect in order to give ourselves a chance. But this is also our claim. Anyhow, we know that in the first game days, perhaps there is not that much pressure on us, because it would be a big surprise and great anyhow, and good for the confidence also to win a point or 3 out of these games against Liverpool and Man City. So not the biggest pressures. There are some other games where we should be there with points in order to achieve our targets, but nevertheless we are highly motivated and we want to be at our best, and want to be competitive.
It's just over a week and a half until the transfer window closes. What can you tell us about possible incomings or outgoings? Is there anything close? Where are the priorities for you?
Well, first of all, I have to praise the club, and I have to praise especially the work of Stuart Webber, because I think what he has done during this transfer window was fantastic so far. So each and every signing, my gut feeling is really, really spot on. And believe me, it's not that easy for a self-funding club. We're not capable to spend 15, 20 million pounds on a player. To have a proven Premier League player, you should invest this money. So we have to be creative and a bit more risky and perhaps a bit smarter, a bit quicker than perhaps some other clubs with more money to spend. I think with our opportunities, Stuart has done an outstanding job. I'm pretty pleased with this, but we also know that the final pieces will be decisive if we are there with the top transfer window or not. So we definitely have to improve our squad further on. So we definitely need to bring a fullback option in. That's definitely for sure. We should definitely do something on the central defense, also perhaps on the holding midfielder position. We know that we have to be spot on also in this topics in order to speak about a really top class transfer window in order to be competitive. We know that we need to do a little bit, but believe me, we are also prepared Of course, as a head coach, you're always tempted to have all the players in as early as possible because you want to work with them as early as possible. But I tell you, if 1 or 2 million points for us wouldn't matter, we would have bring them in already. So, but in our position, sometimes you have to be a bit more patient and wait a little bit. And I'm quite confident that we'll do some business in the end. We'll have a proper competitive group. Yes, and perhaps in this terms, it's also perhaps not the worst thing to start against Liverpool and Man City, that you have games, even if you are there with a top class side, it's difficult to win this game. So for that, I'm quite confident, if I'm honest.
Brandon Williams from Manchester United on loan. Is there anything you can tell us about that?
No, it's always our style not to comment any rumors or names anyhow before business is done. Like I mentioned before, we definitely want one fullback, especially also a left fullback anyhow, who is capable to play this position, because with Dimitris Giannoulis we just have one, and I think to be competitive on this level, you need to have at least 2 options for each and every position. We definitely also need or should bring a centre back in, and then also would be good to bring a central midfielder in. So we will stay awake till the transfer window is done, but we won't comment any names or any rumors. It's always our style to confirm it once business is done and not before.
And final one from me. A few Premier League managers have spoken this week about vaccinations and how they're encouraging their players to get vaccinated. Is it a conversation you've had with your players, and do you have concerns surrounding the Premier League with the cases that are around at the moment?
Well, we had a big problem during our preseason with the outbreak, and I think this has sensibilized each and every player and staff member also how quick such a situation can develop. But I leave it with a medical expert, so it's more like it's not my job. And yeah, of course, when a player asks myself, I also give my honest opinion on it. I'm a deep believer in vaccination, and I'm also 2 times vaccinated, so everything's okay. But I also believe in the free decision of each and every human being. So for that, it's not like I'm a teacher anyhow, and the players are my schoolboys. I have to tell them what they have to do. I'm a deep believer in arguments and in facts, and of course, if my players ask myself anyhow, I give them also my recommendation. But otherwise, I leave it with the medical experts.
Thank you, Daniel. Best of luck this weekend.
Thanks a lot. Thank you.
Tim, thank you. If we could go to Jim from the Press Association, please. Jim.
Hopefully you can hear me, and now you might be able to see me. Hi. Can I just check on a bit of team news, Daniel? Any of the guys who missed last week because of COVID problems, Pacheco, Hernandez, Hugel, are they all back in thinking, or?
No, Placheta is still not available due to the more like the following problems and symptoms because of his COVID situation. It improves slowly, but we have to wait a little bit. So he's still out. Hernandez, was available also for the last game. He was back in training, but he was a player who came back latest from all field players anyhow, and also had this COVID infection. Was pretty interrupted preseason for him. Andrew Obama-Bidele is back in team training and also available for tomorrow, but for that, a little doubt behind Christoph Zimmermann. He was struggling with illness in the beginning of the week, missed out the training days on Tuesday, Wednesday, and we have to wait how this develops anyhow. So there's a little question mark behind his appearance. But apart from this, all the players are available.
Do you feel you're able to learn as much in a defeat as you are when you win a game?
We try to learn in each and every game, and if we win a game or if we lose a game, we always try to stay balanced and analyze the game anyhow in a pretty calm way and in a pretty analytic way. And we're not over the moon after win and everything was great, and after loss it's not everything was wrong anyhow. So we always speak about the positives, but also the negatives anyhow, what we have to improve. And this is also what we did after the Liverpool game. Yes.
Because it was small margins in the Liverpool game, wasn't it? When Pukki goes through, if he makes another decision to maybe cross, and is that something that you've focused on with the guys, that sort of game management when they're in these key positions, because you don't get many opportunities in the Premier League to take?
No, that's right. So not too much game management in this term. So sometimes it's also a topic, if I'm honest. But I got the feeling, so 65 minutes we were really on one level with Liverpool, and I think we were more likely to score in the first 20 minutes, and they had a good period. Then we were again 10 minutes on the front foot, and it's quite normal. It's a world class side. I was quite pleased. The only difference in the first 65 minutes were this, 1-0, and from Jota was also a bit unlucky, because there was also a 50-50 situation with the foul. We were perhaps a bit distracted, then also a bit unlucky situation because Salah didn't mean to assist in this way, and also Jota didn't hit the ball in the way he wanted, and was also a pretty unlucky goal. Yes, after they scored the 2-0, and you could feel that, it's a world-class side then, and you could also feel that our season was then, or our pre-season was then not perfect anyhow, but I was quite pleased also with the response in the last 10-15 minutes when we were pretty close also to score and didn't concede anymore against a side who was really in the mood and in this moment. I think out of this game there were many positive things to take. We also spoke about a few things, especially before the goals, what we could have done better. But overall, I have to say, so many compliments also regarding the circumstances. I was quite pleased with our performance and also with our fitness level, I have to say.
I guess it's important as well that, as you said, people shouldn't get too carried away with these fixtures that you've started off at, because results against Liverpool, Manchester City, they're not really going to define Norwich's season this year.
That's right. Of course, you can be there with a highlight and with some surprising points, additional points. It's always great, and to win points in such games. But let's be honest, these are not the defining moments. So the win 2 years ago didn't help us to stay in the over Man City. Was not then a guarantee to stay in this league anyhow. So these are not the crucial games within the season. But we are also highly motivated in this type of games and in general. So it's important. So we've played the best season in the history of the club in the last season. And I think we are on the way to be really good in the transfer market during this period. So it will be defined on the last pieces. The last pieces will be unbelievably important right now. But in general, so we should be there in such a good mood. And also then it's also important, after really interrupted preseason, if we lose a game against Liverpool, although the performance was quite encouraging, then not to be too down and to play for them without any enthusiasm. No, we enjoy our way, we enjoy our ride, and we also want to play also with bravery and with courage and also with enjoying the ride. And also like when we have to play at the Etihad, and we know that we are not the favorite in this game. But we want to be competitive and want to grind out a performance and also a result.
That's great. Thanks very much. Best of luck. Thank you.
Thank you, Jim. Thank you.
Thanks, Jim. Okay, if you could go to Anne-Marie, please, from PLP.
Hi, Daniel.
Anne-Marie, nice to see you.
Nice to see you too. How have the training sessions been this week after a tough start to the Premier League season?
Quite concentrated and focused, and of course in the first moment when you lose the first game of the season you are a bit disappointed, but we also could judge it in a perfect way. We in the right way. We played a world-class side anyhow with Liverpool, who was really focused, especially their key players, just on this game. And although our pre-season was really difficult due to the COVID situation, we were quite competitive, at least for 65 minutes. And like I mentioned before, many positive things to take. And for us, this week was also important. So we have the group right now, the whole group together after the COVID outbreak for the second week and in a row. And I mentioned the first 3 weeks in the season will be a bit tricky, but each and every day helps. And I think it was also important steps forward in terms of our shape, in terms of our fitness. It's not a guarantee that we'll win a tough game tomorrow at the Etihad. We know this anyhow, but I think quite important week for us, and the players have worked quite hard and really, really focused, and important steps also for the mid and long term for this season.
You mentioned earlier that Norwich are not the favourites for this game, but both teams are coming in with the same form in terms of 3 wins and 2 losses. Does that give you a glimmer of optimism of what could be achieved on Saturday?
Yeah, but it's difficult to say, okay, we are on one level with Man City. And if you ask me, so I would have preferred a different result for them at Tottenham, because I think after a loss, and let's be honest, was also a bit unlucky, if I'm honest, because they were on the front foot for the most time of the game. And yeah, of course, Tottenham is also a top side, and once they're capable anyhow to score out of a transition moment anyhow, they are unbelievably compact and difficult to beat. Anyhow, and also some of the key players of Man City were also out in this game. And I think first home game at the Etihad, first time that they play in front of their home fans, first time that they're allowed to lift the silverware from last season. Anyhow, I think there will be a pretty excited mood, and the place will buzzing, and they will be highly motivated also to bounce back. I would have preferred a different result, if I'm honest. So we are not on the same level like Man City, but nevertheless, yeah, we enjoy also these challenges, and I want to give it a go, but I wouldn't label it. It's a 50-50 game. Yeah, we know our role as well, but we will show some resilience and also some skill, and also want to be competitive.
What are you expecting from City on Saturday?
I expect one of the best sides in the world, the best coach in the world, several world-class players, a place who is buzzing. I think the Etihad will be in a top mood, because the champions from last season will present the silverware anyhow, and I think one of the most difficult tasks that you can have in world football.
Some of your players, like for example, Josh Sargent, of course, Rashika, Giannoulis, got a taste of what the Premier League is about when they played against Liverpool, and they're going to get another taste now against Manchester City, the champions.
Yeah, that's right. It's always important that the new players settle in quite well. Yeah, of course. Right now, when you face already the best sides in the league, anyhow, so it's more like it's a tough start. But they have also proved, all of them have proved anyhow, that when they are thrown a little bit in the cold water, it was a bit for them, because they've never played on this level before, that they can swim. And it's still not easy. I don't expect them that they cut the Premier League into pieces. And even in their games, there was something to improve, and what they have to improve and can improve. But I think they showed also why we were so greedy anyhow to bring them in the summer, or like Giannoulis also in January. And I think also another proof why I praise Stuart Webber so much for the work that he's done, because they are important players for us.
Thanks, Daniel. Best of luck on Saturday.
Thanks a lot, Daniel.
Thank you, Anne-Marie. Okay, Michael Bailey from The Athletic, please.
Hi, Daniel. Good afternoon.
Michael, hi. Good afternoon.
Can I just ask you about the shape against Liverpool last weekend? I think it was sort of a 4-3-3. How happy were you with how that sort of panned out and how it worked around? I kind of felt, looking at the centre backs at times, they were maybe more used to having two midfielders to pick from and play through than one. But you know a lot more about this than me, so.
In general, I'm not too addicted to base formation, so it's not like I would say I have a favorite base formations. Last season we also played a bit a 4-3-3, but a bit asynchronous. So one half position was more like a 6-6, and one half position was quite often like a 10. So we adapted a little bit also our base formation, because also due to the quality of the opponents. It's more like it's also quite likely that you are not that dominant like we were, for example, when we faced, with all respect, Rotherham in the home game last season, or the season before on championship level. Anyhow, so it's of course difficult when you play one against the world-class sides like Liverpool or Man City, and you also have to make sure that you are also quite solid against the ball and strong against the ball, and have enough players also against the ball, also in the moments when you lose the ball, to be prepared, especially also to defend also the transition moments. Because for me, Liverpool is probably the best counter-attacking side in the world, and it was quite important. And I think we were competitive for 65 minutes. I think out of the game, if I'm honest, we didn't allow them to have chances, so they were quite dangerous out of counter-attacks, and sometimes also out of second phase. On set piece was the best set piece side in the whole last season. Anyhow, so of course. But in this moment, we were quite spot on, and I was quite pleased how we interpreted also our base formation, and I was quite pleased with our shape.
Do you is there anything you've had to do, particularly at the start of this season, to protect the good feeling, I suppose? I mean, most newly promoted sides, they come up and, it's a sort of free hits whoever they get. And I guess there's potentially some baggage from 2 years ago, but I know some of the players are different. I'm just wondering whether you as a staff are conscious of that, and or you've just kind of left the players to it a bit.
If I'm really honest, I don't know if it's really a disadvantage anyhow that you think if you lose a game anyhow, it's like, oh, we've also last time against Liverpool anyhow, so it could be a bad omen or something like this, because it feels a bit less excited during the season, with less euphorism, a bit more like business as usual. And I don't think it's if this is really a bad sign. It's more like, yeah, we're playing Premier League, so what? So it's not like we are overexcited or overmotivated. It's for us a bit like business as usual, and I quite like this. We just have to be careful anyhow that, yeah, when there is a loss anyhow against Liverpool, or perhaps difficult games, also upcoming games during the season, that we're not too down after a loss anyhow. It's also quite normal against the best side in the world that you don't have to watch under each and every stone and ask yourself too many questions when you lose against the top class side. This is the only thing that we have to make sure that we still play also with euphorism and enjoy also the way. But I also quite like a little bit the feeling that it seems that we're not too excited, not overexcited, not over motivated, like perhaps in several situations in the last game and after a loss it felt always like the world goes down, and after a win it's more like everyone was unbelievable buzzing. I quite like the feeling that it's a bit more business as usual.
Brilliant. One more, if I may. I think it's just popped through that Kevin De Bruyne hasn't trained today, which I guess you take either way. Maybe it's true, maybe it's not. But I mean, is it quite hard to analyse a team like Manchester City going into a game where there probably are quite a few question marks over who they play and how they go about it? Or how difficult does that make it for you?
Yes, it's unbelievably difficult. First of all, in personal terms, because you can't predict what Pep will do, because he's capable to change a lot in personal terms, also due to the quality of his players anyhow. Also in terms of base formation, but also within the base formation. So he plays so many different setups and different processes. It's unbelievably difficult. So, and the main topic is more like, of course, their principle, how they want to play, and their football, their approach is quite clear. But they have so many processes within this approach, and it's unbelievably difficult. So we have to make sure that we don't overload the players with too much information. So it's more like I could prepare them for 137 different scenarios how Pep wants to build up the game, for example. But it's also important not to overload them, because they don't want to do their doctor exam and you're on the pitch. It's also important, yes, to prepare them also for different processes, but to keep it as simple as possible. So this is always a task for Man City, because you can't prepare for each and every little detail. And although you need to know this as a coach and you have to be prepared, but it's important to find a good balance and not to overload the players with information, because otherwise so it's more like they forget to play football. So this will be the main task as well. And for that it makes it complicated, because I've also so much knowledge about Pep's processes, about his way he wants to play, and you're of course tempted to give so many information to the player. So it's quite important that I calm myself also a little bit down and don't overdo it.
Well, I'll be keeping an eye out for that as well then tomorrow. Loads of luck. Good luck tomorrow. Thank you, Daniel.
Thank you.
Thanks, Michael. Okay, Jim Conlon, please. Jim. Okay, Jim, if you're not there, we'll jump to Ian Winrow, please. Ian.
Hi, Daniel. Let me get my video on. Hi there.
Yeah, hi.
Hi. Just carrying on from your last answer, actually, about not wanting to overload the players with information. Is it also an issue that you don't want to create more of a fear factor than you have to. If you say, well, this is what we'll do if De Bruyne is playing, and if he's not, if Grealish is there, we'll do that. And it actually just creates, it makes the task seem a little bit more intimidating.
Well, my players are not stupid. They know who they face anyhow, and they know that once they turn up at the Etihad, probably some world-class players are around. So I don't believe in hiding behind this fact, but it's also not like to speak. Also, of course, we all know, and my players know that they face a world-class side. But I think the best way is always to be absolutely analytic and objective, and not to be fearful, but also not to be respectless anyhow, to find a good balance anyhow. Of course, we speak also about their strengths and about their game anyhow, and it's quite important to prepare yourself. So the times that you could say as a coach anyhow, so it's more like, we don't care about the opponent, we just concentrate on ourselves. As this time is long ago. So during my times as a player, so when you got the feeling the coach is not perfectly prepared on who we play, sometimes they said, anyhow, come on, let's just concentrate on ourselves. That's the only topic. These times are long ago. So you need to know everything about your opponent. And also the players want information. So for that, we give them information, and we speak in a pretty analytic way, but without creating anyhow too much fear. So it's also important when you face this best sides anyhow that you play with courage and also with bravery. So because if you're too fearful, you have no chance.
And just from the point of view of being a Premier League manager, when you see the team that were champions last year spend £100 million on Grealish, talk about trying to sign Kane, you know there's a huge gap anyway. Is that a little bit deflating when you think that there's the potential for the leading clubs to extend that gap even more by the power in the transfer market?
No, I'm realistic. I'm the head coach of Norwich City and not Manchester City. I'm the head coach of a self-funding club, and it's not possible for us to spend that much money. But in general, so it's a different animal. That's quite normal, and we accept this. And it's not like we are unbelievably jealous or complain about this. So it's also like they have then also like the pressure that they have to win more or less each and every title in each and every season. And sometimes when they are there with outstanding performances and they win the league and still someone is mooning about, why didn't they also win the Champions League anyhow? So it's also unbelievably difficult. And I wouldn't label it that Pep's job is easier than my job anyhow. Not at all. It's just a bit different situation, and each and every situation has its challenges and its difficulties and its advantages. And for that, we know that it's difficult, also to compete with a side with so much individual quality. And even if we are spot on and are top class and my players give their all, it could be that if Manchester City has also a good day, that you lose the game, and we know this. So it's just important that we're not anyhow too addicted anyhow to judge it or to be too down if you're there with a poor result against such a side. We just have to make sure that we are there with the best possible performance, and this is our topic, and then we see what the outcome is.
Thanks very much, Daniel.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Thank you, Ian. Okay, we could go to Andy Ward, please, from ITV.
Hi, Daniel.
Andy, hi.
Yeah. Daniel, I know we've touched upon it a bit already, but just how highly do you rate Manchester City in terms of the best sides in the world? I know you've got Paris Saint-Germain, Bayern Munich, etc. Are they the ultimate test in world football at the moment?
Well, it's always difficult to say this is the best side or this is the best side. So there are different approaches anyhow. So, for example, you can't compare the approach of Manchester City under Pep Guardiola with Liverpool under Jurgen Klopp anyhow. Both world-class sides, both sides unbelievable, difficult to beat. In general, I think Pep is the best coach in the world. He has world-class players. He's won well-deserved the title last season, so you could definitely argue it's more like the most consistent side also in the last season. Chelsea won the Champions League title. It's also difficult anyhow, but Perhaps the Premier League title is more like the title about most consistency anyhow, and this the title well deserved went to Man City. So for that, you could argue it's the best side here in the UK. Whatever, it's difficult to compare. It's definitely one of the best sides in the world, with a world class coach, with world class players, and we know that we're facing an unbelievably difficult task.
Yeah, absolutely. And Daniel, I've got to ask you about your friendship with Pep. He's obviously a guy you respect massively. Just how much admiration do you have for him, and how great will it be to see him tomorrow?
Well, first of all, I don't like to speak too much about our private situation here, because Pep has made it also a bit known in public that we have a really good relationship, but I don't have a really good relationship with Pep Guardiola because he's the best coach in the world. I've got a really good relationship with Pep Guardiola because he's also a fantastic human being. Yeah, of course, we're also discussing sometimes about football. It's also great with him to discuss about this, and it's also great to have someone who knows what it means to work in this business, in this responsible role. And of course, you discuss about this, but we have such a good relationship because it's great to speak with him as a human being. But I don't like to speak too much about our relationship because I felt always a bit embarrassed when coaches speak about, they have a great relationship with Pep or with Jürgen or with Jose, with a world-class coach. It feels always like a bit like fishing for compliments. So it doesn't guarantee that I'm also a top-class coach just because I have a good relationship with Pep Guardiola. So that's not important at all. It's more like I really like him as a human being, and for that we have got a good relationship. What I definitely can say about him as a coach, he's the best. So I think he's a legend, and the football community should build status for him because no other coach in the last 15 years has influenced the football more than Pep did. So you always want to be a trendset, more like use trends and want to be a modern coach, but he was always ahead of the wave. So he was a trendsetter. He created trends, and I think he has influenced the game in the last 15 years more than any other coach on this planet has done. So he has played already with a false nine anyhow when no one even knew what it was. And meanwhile, many coaches are playing with a false nine. He has cut teams, well-structured defending teams into pieces. When everyone said, okay, against a well-structured piece, he has to use the wings, he cut them into pieces with overloading the center and creating chances through the center. So he has played with fullbacks already more like midfield players when no one even thought about that this was possible. When everyone was speaking about now in the most physical league in the world, in the Premier League, you have to be strong in set pieces, you have to be good in physical terms. He won with a possession-based side, combination with many small and tiny technical players where no one believed anyhow it was possible. When everyone was talking about you need to play more or less always with the same base formation, with your same processes, he has changed his base formation from game to game and within the game 8 or 9 times anyhow. And the most important topics, of course you can do this. I also can play in a 2-2-6 formation with 6 strikers, what no one has done before. But the good thing is with him, he has won everything with this by doing this, by creating and setting this trend. So of course you can work against the odds and try to create a new a new brand of football, a new approach, and try to be a trendsetter. But you have to be successful with this. And he has won more titles than anyone else on this level. And this is why I think he's really a legend. He's a genius in what he's doing. And to describe him, he's simply the best.
Yeah, and finally, it's going to be your first away game with fans back. Norwich fans in the away end. How important is that going to be for you tomorrow? And how much of a role have they got to play?
Yes, it's always great to play in front of supporters. I'm not sure if our yellow shirts will oversing the Man City supporters. And I think they will be in a quite a good mood as well. Sorry. But of course, it's great to have them back, and even when the stadium is sometimes also against you, it's also quite a good atmosphere. I like this. I have liked this as a player, and I also like this situation also Also as a coach, I can remember atmosphere when we played Leeds on championship level, and the whole stadium was buzzing anyhow, and everyone was against us. Anyhow, I quite like this atmosphere. Anyhow, I always try to grow in such an atmosphere, and then it's great with the yellow shirts in the end. Although we are an underload, probably also to celebrate anyhow, and it's great. Also that you have a little yellow wall at least at the end, anyhow. So I'm looking forward to have this game, and the mood will be great. And I know so a difficult task. So during the game, I will be fully focused on the game. But it's great to have our supporters back, even the Man City supporters. So it's great to play in front of the supporters, and quite good atmosphere. Hopefully.
Brilliant. Thanks for your time, and good luck for tomorrow.
Thank you, Andy.
Thanks, Andy. Okay, is there anybody else before we jump on to BBC Radio Norfolk? Okay, Paddy Davitt, please.
Daniel, how are you?
Paddy, you work for the radio right now. That's good.
No. Not unless I've been sacked. No, that's news to me, mate. How are you? You well?
Yes, all good. Thank you.
I'll keep it brief. Sam Byram, any chance tonight? There was some pictures of him sort of looked like he might have been doing a session or two with the 23s, and I know they've got a game tonight, but is that a potential outcome tonight?
No, he won't be involved. So, like I mentioned before, he does some bits and pieces on the pitch. Also, several bits with the under 23 in the training session, and but we are unbelievably careful. So the first topic is like to return to proper team training, and once he's capable to handle the load, then we can think about something like this. But at the moment, he's sadly still a bit too far away from being involved in a game.
Yeah. Okay. On the game itself, I went and had a look at your quotes prior to the 2019 home game, and you basically said that day that you just cannot go out with the mindset of trying to defend for 90 minutes against this team, as good as they are. And you've obviously talked at length again this afternoon how good they are, how good that coach is. Albeit it's away from home rather than Carrow, and you've not got 25,000 home fans behind you. Is that part of your approach tomorrow, that it's simply not possible to maybe try and go and park the bus, as sometimes you would say, for 90 minutes against this team? When you get your opportunities, you have to try and test for vulnerability for them defensively.
No, that's definitely right. So, of course, we have to be spot on in our defending, and we have to be really, really good in defending our own box and defending our goal, and to put the bodies also in the block shots and block crosses, and defend all the set pieces. We have to be spot on and really resilient and to be competitive. We know this, but it won't be enough if we just do this. And it's like a boxer, and wants to win a fight, and wants to win something, and he never punches, and so he just tries to save himself, and you have no chance. And at any point you will get hit. So that's quite normal. You need against Man City also as many periods as possible when you can keep the ball, when you can also recover a little bit by being in possession, when you hurt them also a little bit, when you try to exhaust them also, like in making them run after the ball, because their quality is just too big in order that you can say, okay, here you have the ball for 90 minutes and try to attack when we just defend. No chance. Anyhow, we need as many periods as possible when we can keep the ball. We need as many periods as possible when we can also use our transition moments, when we use set pieces, but also out of our possession to create chances. Anyhow, so it will be also important to have as many periods and many scenes as possible when we try to press them high already in their own half. We know that it's not always possible, but I think in many tasks we have to be really spot on tomorrow, and we need a pretty complex performance to give ourselves a chance. It was also a bit the way how we were able to beat them 2 years ago. We had also some high winnings of the ball. For example, for Timo Pukki's goal, when I think about the situation, we were also good in beating their pressing and creating chances out of this situation. It won't happen in each and every moment, but in general, so with just defending, you have no chance against.
Yeah, and just a final one from me. I'm not going to press you because you've already said you're looking to do some business, but it's no secret, I guess, if I was to say that Ollie Skip isn't going to be your holding midfielder, as much as you'd like that to have been the case. But watching him last weekend, was there a pride on one level as a coach that you and obviously this environment has allowed that lad to be, and he didn't look out of place, let's be honest, playing for Tottenham against Man City last weekend. as much as it's, you'd love to have had him back, I know, for the new season, but do you take a lot of pride from, your role in that guy's development, because he's gone back to Tottenham and it looks like he could have a decent season for them?
I was part of him, I have to say, not so much of me, of course. We've worked with him for 12 months or nearly 12 months, at least for one season, anyhow, and he has improved a lot, and I think he has also learned a lot, but he should speak himself perhaps a bit like how important this step in this season in his career was. Anyhow, I think he just deserves all the praise, and really all my fingers are crossed for him. I think if he develops further on like this, he will have a great career. He's a fantastic football player, fantastic human being, also unbelievable. He plays also like a pretty mature player, and I think he's grown a lot during the last season. But it's all testament to his character, also to his skills, and also his quality and his willingness to learn and to prove each and every day. And he was always like unbelievable hard work on the training pitch, and also unbelievable concentrated, even in tactical meetings, always spot on. This is quite remarkable for a young player, because young players sometimes they take it a bit too easy, and they think, okay, come on, I rule the world. And Oliver was always like a bit like the mindset of an old experienced player and a young buddy anyhow. And this was great to experience this, and all my fingers are crossed for his career. So I think, Tottenham should be very, very happy to have him. England should be very, very happy to have him, and I'm pretty sure he will have a great career.
Thanks, Daniel. Thanks for your time. Good luck tomorrow, mate. Cheers.
Thank you.
Thanks, Paddy. Finally, Rob Butler.
Hi, Daniel.
Hi, Rob.
Good to see you. Just back to the kind of team news tomorrow. Obviously, you're not going to tell us your team now, of course, but are you tempted to rotate things despite all the positivity that you've been speaking about after the Liverpool game?
Well, rotation because of load is not necessary, because we had a normal week. I think also important, many players on the pitch last time around, anyhow, where it was really doubtful if they could handle the 90 minutes. If I'm honest, I was quite sure at any point I have to substitute in the last game Grant Hanley, because he had to play this first game without any preseason second. Anyhow, also Ben Gibson was out for 4 months anyhow, and he just had two friendlies. Dimitris Giannoulis had an injury during preseason, also had to self-isolate for a few days anyhow. I think in the end he was also struggling with a few cramps. For Billy Gilmore, it was his first game on this level. Pierre Lesmelou, first game on this level. If I'm honest, I staved a bit my substitutions for the defensive players, because I thought I would need probably to substitute them later on in the game. Yeah, and in the end, they were able to go through and play all minutes. So for that, I could give then Timo Pukki and also Milot Rasica, especially because I think he looked quite sharp, especially also Milot, although he had also difficult preseason. Could give him some rest, and also Todd Cantwell after his ankle problem. And I have to say, the players who came in looked unbelievably sharp. Adam Idah was good in the game. Josh Sargent, I think, meanwhile, everyone understands why we were so greedy also to sign him. He showed some glimpses. Also, Kieran Dowell had some good touches. Also, this week was quite important. Kenny McLean had a good training week, and Andrew Ogwumamidele right now back in team training. So in general, I think quite important week. And several players are also pushing for the starting lineup. That's good. We need this competition anyhow. But in terms of load, there's not so much reason to rest a player or whatever. Will be quite different in the next week when you have also the cup game. I think there we will rotate a little bit. Right now, it's just important to find the proper starting lineup in order to get the best possible result out of this game.
Yeah, you talked about the fact that you're starting with probably the two toughest games you possibly could. I guess another positive of that is you get them out of the way. You're getting Man City and Liverpool out of the way, and then it's a massively tough game against Leicester City. But that's one that lots of other people will feel Norwich is more winnable at home.
Well, we will see. It's not like we give the first two game days away anyhow just to bring ourselves in shape, but we also can't change the situation. So I mentioned before. So I think players like Timo Pukki, like Grant Hanley, like Ben Gibson, also Pierre Lesmelou and Billy Gilmore, because it's the first taste of really proper competitive Premier League football. Also Dimitrios after his injury anyhow during preseason. but also all the other players, they need the first games a little bit to come into the rhythm because they didn't have a proper preseason. And also for that, we want to be as competitive as possible, but by doing this also, to allow players to be in their best rhythm, because let's be honest, we need their players in their best rhythm throughout the season. And for that, yes, we try to find a good mix to be as successful as possible, but also to give them as many minutes as possible, because we need them players in a top class shape, and hopefully then after the international break, perhaps even also even before, we are capable then also to win points and to be there with our best possible performances. And let's see. So of course, it's still, we're just more or less training for 2 weeks with a whole group. But my gut feeling is also quite good for good performance tomorrow. I think we can also competitive, knowing that we face an unbelievably difficult opponent. But I think for the bigger picture, it was also quite important training week.
There's going to be around sort of 1,500 Norwich fans travelling up to Manchester. I always, when I'm at these away games, you kind of look to the players when they first run out, and they look for where the Norwich fans are to sort of feel a little bit at home. That's going to be so big for you and the players, having that kind of corner of Manchester that's yellow on Saturday.
Yes, it's important. It's important that they are noisy and loud and cheer us up. And even in such a big stadium, when even a smaller group anyhow make sure we are behind the yellow shirt, it has an impact anyhow. And then we need the good mix, and also like to enjoy anyhow that the more or less 95% of the stadium will be against us, and let's enjoy this challenge. So it's great. So we should show some resilience in this moment, but then also to be proud to represent this yellow shirt. And I'm pretty sure that all our supporters will be unbelievably noisy and try everything in order to sing whatever happens and try to support us. And it's great to have them back, and a completely different feeling to the other season there, when also in the away games no supporters were around, and it's great to have them all back.
And it's a big day for Manchester City. They're going to have a full stadium. They're going to have their fans back. They're the champions. They're going to have a proper kind of almost like a celebration for those who couldn't be there for when they did win the title. So I think Norwich have to be aware that it is a big day for them as well.
Yes, we are aware, and I spoke about this. So probably you would choose more a period to play against them whenever in October, when it's perhaps in between two important Champions League games or whatever, but we can't choose. So the fixtures are like they are. It's their first home game, also after a defeat anyhow, where they will represent their silverware to the supporters. I think everyone will be excited to be unbelievably noisy anyhow, but it will be a great atmosphere, and for that I don't want to complain anyhow. We know that they will be highly motivated and also focused, but it's also not like our claim is just to win against distracted side. Anyhow, we also want to win and want to be there with a good result against the best possible Manchester City side. I expect the best possible Manchester City side tomorrow, also the best possible atmosphere in the stadium, and even in this surroundings, we want to be as successful as possible.
And just finally on Pep Guardiola, obviously someone you know well, and we've spoke lots about your relationship with him. Do you rate him as the best manager in the world?
Yes.
Tell us why.
Well, I spoke quite extensive also about this. So a few minutes ago, so I think it was a quite a long monologue. So he has won unbelievable amount of titles. He was a trendsetter. He created. He was always ahead of the wave. He has influenced the game like no other manager in the last 15 years. And he's simply the best.
Brilliant. Thanks, Daniel. That's great. Cheers. All the best for tomorrow.
Thanks a lot.
Okay, thank you, Rob. Thanks, everyone. We will leave it there. As always, we will endeavour to get this recording sent around this group very short. Thank you.